Okay, and after we finish this, we are going to flip to the very next page, and on the back of the abbreviations, we are going to glue in measuring matter. Okay, for this, I'm just going to cut off this back part right here, or this bottom part right here. You'll see that we are going to make flaps like this. And I actually am going to leave this top part on right here. I know it's kind of weird. But now I'm going to glue, and you don't have to do it like this. This is just what I wanted to do. I just want you to have the flaps. Like this. See how I kind of made that there? And then we're going to glue it in. The important part is that you cut it and glue it so that these parts can come up. You don't need this part unless you want to. Okay. The next thing we are going to put in is determining mass. I'm going to put some glue right here. And then on the back of that one, we are going to glue the volume one. Like such. Volume. All right, so this one is going to be volume. And volume is the amount of space something takes up. Okay. Back here we have mass. Mass is the amount of matter, in an object. Okay, so mass is basically, if you remember when we drew or we did our solid, liquid, and gas, remember we said that all matter is made of atoms, or these little bitty particles that if you were to zoom in super, super close, that all matter is made of these atoms. Mass is basically how many atoms have to be packed in to create whatever object you are measuring the mass of. And this is not the same as weight, but a lot of the times we think of it similar to weight, but it is different, and we'll talk about it over here. But this is going to be our mass. Matter. We remember that matter is anything that has mass or takes up space. That is going to be matter. Anything and everything. All things are matter, whether you can see it or not. All things. Anything that has mass or takes up space. Okay. For this specific set of notes, I'm going to turn my notebook sideways. Just because I feel like that will be the easiest for me. You do not have to do this if you don't want to. I'm going to go ahead and make these sections right here. This is going to be weight, volume, and mass. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do, because these are 3 different physical properties that sometimes we mix up because they're kind of similar and it's hard to keep them straight. So we're going to put this in our journal so that anytime we have questions, we're able to just flip back and find the answer, okay? So weight is going to be determined by gravity pulling on an object's mass. So remember we said over here that mass is how many atoms are packed in to create an object or whatever you are measuring, okay? Weight is when gravity is pulling on those atoms, how much is it pulling down? So on Earth, I may weigh 400 pounds, but if I were to go to the moon, I would weigh less because there's less gravity to pull on all of those atoms. Now, with mass, it is just measuring how many atoms. So if I go to the moon, the amount of atoms that make me is not going to change. So my mass will still stay the same. However, my weight will change because there's less gravity pulling on me. Okay. This weight is measured with a scale. Okay. And weight is usually going to be pounds or ounces is the unit we usually see with weight. Volume is going to be how much space matter takes up. Okay, that's how much space it takes up. No matter what, we said that solids and liquids have a fixed volume. No matter what container it is, it's going to take up a set amount of space. So volume is how we measure how much space something takes up. So if I am here, there, or under the couch, I still have a set volume, right? I'm still taking up the same amount of space. No matter what location I'm in, I'm going to take up the same amount of volume. Volume is measured with a beaker or graduated cylinder. This is going to be measured in milliliters. Okay, and this is something that you guys will learn and explore more about, is how to measure volume. So you'll have fun labs coming about this, and you'll get to experiment with that a little bit more. But I just wanted it here for you to reference as we go into these labs and observation stations. I just wanted you to be able to see it and look back at these notes. Mass, again, is the amount of matter, specifically how many atoms make up an object, okay? This is going to be measured with a triple beam balance. You should have a triple beam balance right here. We'll get to that more this year, specifically this upcoming week. This is going to be in grams. We measure grams. So when we measure weight, we'll say it is 486 pounds or ounces. When we measure volume, we are going to say it's 432 milliliters. When we measure mass, it's going to be 476 grams, okay? So units is how we tell, when we give that number for the measurement, we tell what it's talking about, okay? Our unit. Awesome. Next, we're going to talk about how to Determine mass and volume.